It is tragic. It is tragic, but at the same time, I feel bad for you, man. Because I know you're trying, and you're not intentionally trying to miss these things.
No,
you just always do.
Yeah. What are you trying to say here, dude?
It's like this weird thing where I battle. I battle like I'm sad about that, but at the same time, it's kind of endearing because that's kind of like your personality too.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not dumb, okay? I'm not dumb.
I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying that
your personality is.
Wait. What? No, man. Dude. I feel like what I'm realizing a little bit about this show, our show, like the podcast that we make, is that it makes me look stupid.
No, the podcast doesn't do that.
Yeah, you do that.
Pardon me?
The podcast doesn't.
Sorry, what's that? I think it does.
For fuck's sakes.
Yeah, I think so. Because like as you said his name, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that was his name. The main guy. Hey, your epiglottis is sounding great, my dude.
Thank you.
No problem.
What?
Thank you very much.
You know, just one man complimenting another man's flaps.
All the flaps.
Yeah. Tell me when to snap. Brap, brap, brap.
Rap, rap, snap.
You ready?
Yes. Nice. And welcome back to Anime Shmanime.
We're rolling.
We are rolling.
We are rolling.
If you guys just knew the conversation we had before we started rolling, holy fuck.
It was very pleasant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I quite enjoyed it.
Epiglottis?
No, that's not the word.
What was the fucking word?
It's epiglottis.
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 What is it again?
It's the flap that separates your drinking and eating tube from your breathing tube.
Oh, yes, that's right. All about the flaps. Flappy, flap, flap, flap.
The more you know, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should be no kids watching this.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. I mean,
Kids are sneaky.
Yeah, kids are
sneaky.
sneaky.
Listen, if you're a sneaky kid out there and you're watching this, respect.
yeah, respect.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right, guys.
What are we covering?
We are covering
JJK0.
JJK0.
Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the
The
film.
film.
Yes. So spoiler alert. We are going to spoil the fuck out of it. So if you haven't seen it already, go watch it because I'm surprised that you haven't watched it.
It's free on Crunchyroll now.
Yeah, it's free
Yep.
on Crunchyroll.
That's why we're covering it finally.
Well, for you.
Yeah.
Jay and I saw it in theaters.
Hell yeah, we did.
Actually, that was my first anime in. Oh no, that's a lie. That was my second
You
anime.
fucking liar.
Fuck you.
I can't believe you came here to lie today.
That's what I do. I'm just a fucking liar. Lies all upon lies. The layers, the flaps, the flaps,
Yeah.
the lies of flaps.
I feel like it should be said that the fact that we waited till this was on Crunchyroll was not without trying. Like, it was impossible to find a watchable version of this film up until now.
I think I tried
Yeah.
every day.
I tried a lot too, dude.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
But
Well,
in the end,
Yeah.
that's the first time that's ever happened to me.
There was I just found out a Zoro.to. Apparently that's a pretty good site.
I doubt it had this.
No, there was a bunch that I went to that like
They had it under wraps.
Everybody had
Yeah.
the same pirated copies. You know what I mean, nobody had a good screener.
Yeah.
Don't pirate, guys.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We don't ever do that.
No, never.
No.
Not
Okay,
once.
so
But yeah,
JJK0.
JJK0.
It's Nietzsche's Ubermensch in an epic battle against Venom and the Hogwarts Academy.
Go fuck yourself, man.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah. I had to hop around a few
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
dimensions
there's a lot going on.
there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think I got it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Nietzsche-
Venom's lazy, but okay.
But
Yeah.
it's lazy because it's there. Like, he's very much Venom.
It's not a he, it's a she, first of all.
The big one.
The big one's a she. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he's no Eddie Brock. I mean,
No, he's not.
No.
But like, it's the same archetype.
No, it's not even
no.
close, man.
No.
Not even close.
He's
No.
but he's possessed by a being who's like literally almost even kind of looks venomish.
Listen, dude, the fact
And he
that,
can't quite control when it comes
the fact
out.
that you left yourself open to this much criticism from Mikey and I tells me that Venom is lazy.
I don't know.
Venom is a complete lazy one.
but-
I can
But
see
there,
aesthetically.
but it's there.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm on
Yeah.
board with all
It's
the rest.
there, dude.
Yeah,
The
the
Ubermensch
Nishi
is there.
I mean, like I'm
Yeah.
a nihilist, so like I love Nishi.
Yeah, so you understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
I fucking
Yeah.
love Nietzsche.
Yeah.
But the Hogwarts thing, I'm like,
That's pretty funny.
But I would say that's the lazy one because like Jujutsu Kaisen Academy is clearly Hogwarts.
Yeah, but it's okay that
Yeah.
it's lazy because it made me laugh.
Okay.
yeah, the
right.
Venom. I mean, I guess anti-Venom would be okay because
The
the
look
anti-Venom,
would be there, yeah.
the look would be there.
It's
But as
the-
far as
it's the way
archetype goes,
it's the way he's symbiotic and it's inside him and it comes out. Sometimes he can't control it and then they learn to work together. It's
guess,
the same.
yeah.
It's there.
yeah, but like so,
It's not lazy.
No, it is lazy because Utah is definitely nothing like Eddie Brock.
I didn't say Eddie Brock. I said Venom.
Venom and Eddie Brock are the same person.
They're not though.
We are Venom.
We
Okay.
are Venom. Yes.
There's no we
Anyways.
are Rika.
Yeah.
You're right.
Thank you.
All right.
I am senpai.
I guess that was true.
That is it.
Speaking of senpai,
You want to go right into Senpai's Corner?
I think I should get this out of the way so we
Okay.
can really get into talking
Okay,
about
okay,
this
okay,
because
okay.
like
We're gonna gush about this a lot.
for
I
sure,
think.
and
Yeah.
I want to get to that. So, but like, we got to talk about this because this was a fucking
Okay.
monumentally huge thing. So
You go.
For anybody out there who doesn't know, this movie is a prequel to the TV series that you've probably all watched. And it is based off the manga chapter. They gave it the number 0 because, of course, it's a prequel. But this story itself is actually was the pilot that that Akutami was testing the waters with. Just put it out under a completely different name. And it wasn't called Jujutsu Kaisen at the time. But then put it out there, it got a lot of traction. And then once it got picked up and got serialized in the magazines, that was when it became Jujutsu Kaisen. And that was when the decision was made not to cover the story from this point, but to start with our pink-haired boy Yuji,
Yeah.
like we see in the show.
Sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And that decision to adapt the Yuji story and to skip this was a decision made by Park Sung-hoo, who directed this. And so he directed the first season of the show. He decided to start with Yuji.
Yeah.
And then he also was able to helm direction on this film as well.
Just a quick aside. That's the thing that happens in franchises a lot.
Yeah.
Where they don't tell you the first story. Because really, by not telling the first story, you allow the first story to be lore. You allow for that rich history to exist in the story that people are consuming, right?
But see, I feel like that's such a cop out in some ways because, the first 3, Panda and Maki, and what's the other guy's name with the voice?
Oh, yeah. The cursed species. Yeah.
That's a good trio, right? Because it feels like the Yuji trio is very reminiscent of a lot of different formulas. Like you see it in Naruto, you see it in, Attack on Titan. You see that trio a lot, but this is the first time I've seen a trio with a panda, and it's not even
Not only a panda, but it's a literal corpse.
yeah.
Well, no, it's actually not a panda.
It's not
Yeah.
a panda at
Yeah.
all. But then also, this is the first time it's a trio plus 1 because he's not technically part of the group yet.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it's got elements of that trio formula, but it's not like a carbon copy clone of some of the ones that are out there that are just Naruto repackaged. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's
You would have rather had this story as the show, is what you're saying?
to start here. Yeah, 100%.
Interesting.
I think because I really like Yuta's character.
I think one of the reasons for me that it makes sense is because at the end of this kind of story, this contained story, Yuta does take a very long time away from everybody.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of time in Africa, and he's
you
not
mean
in the fucking picture.
That I haven't seen. After
Unless
this.
you watch the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I probably didn't.
Oh, you motherfucker!
I didn't know that it existed, dude.
You always check, dude.
Always.
It's 2022.
Unless it's Marvel, I assume there's not one.
No,
Either
every
way,
anime
we'll
sometimes
explain-
will have one.
We'll
Okay.
explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when we get to it. But
Okay,
either way,
okay.
Like I think they had to have a reason why the main character they were about to introduce you to was suddenly just going to be gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yuji's a more consistent main character in this whole story.
Yeah.
Where it's more reliable to start your show off with him.
Yeah.
Get people attached to him.
Yeah.
Because if it had started with this, I would have been pissed off when all of a sudden Yuta's like
Gone?
chilling in Africa now for
Yeah.
how long?
Yeah, because what happened to your story? You lost your main guy.
Because
Yeah.
like, and like, I'm not going to spoil anything like for like the manga or whatever, but like where he goes and where you see him in the post-credit scene, he's there for a long fucking time.
Like the Hulk.
A long time.
Yeah.
A lot of shit happens in the main story.
Yeah.
With Yuji and you know everybody else.
Yeah.
That I sort of understand why they started there. It's
right.
it's a smoother first season.
Yeah.
To have the same main character
Yeah.
than having one split off.
All right.
Towards the beginning. I kind of get it.
I like it. I liked it. I said I liked it.
I think there was a reason.
I like that it got to be JJK 0 and it got to be hype and it got to be lore
Yes.
for the first season. You know
Full
what I mean?
budget.
Yes, I'm not saying that I don't like it. I said I prefer it the other way.
Yeah.
Just because of how much I love Yuta.
Okay.
And actually, what's funny is I actually didn't like him at first in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's kind of a wiener at first. Right? But,
He redeemed himself.
Kind of is a wing.
Yeah, totally
So-
redeemed himself though.
so let me finish up here. So we established already that where this came from and what this is based off of. So this was directed by Park Sung-hoo, written by Hiroshi Seiko, and stars the main cast. It's all the people back from the anime, which was like super comforting. And because I watched it subbed the way it's supposed to be, I got to really enjoy all of these voices.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me?
Yeah.
The film was produced by Mappa, Studio Mappa, who you guys are just gonna hear nothing but Mappa for the next probably like year of your life because Chainsaw Man's about to wreck house.
Yeah.
And it was distributed by the powerhouse Toho. Follows Yuta Okotsu, a young student who becomes a sorcerer and seeks to control the cursed spirit of his childhood friend Rika Orimoto in Jujutsu High alongside other skilled mates. So this was obviously a huge release, and Japan actually wasn't even really prepared for how big this was going to be, and like went into like emergency mode, like opening up screenings all over the country because literally every screening, even in the most remote places of Japan, were selling the fuck out.
Crazy.
And people were just lining the fuck up. Like it was an absolute.
Like it's a crowd control issue.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
as it always seems to be there when something hits big. There's just like they're calling the police, like riot squads. Like seriously, like,
This movie's really popular. We're gonna need a riot squad.
it gets absolutely insane.
So funny.
Yeah.
It ends up ranking pretty high on the top earnings list. Number one, of course, is still Mugen Train Demon Slayer.
It didn't top
Oh,
it.
it didn't beat
Rengoku.
out Mugen Train?
Still the most for revenue in billions. It ended up landing actually 15th overall.
Okay.
At one point, it was 11th, and then it was surpassed actually by the newest One Piece movie, which is also blowing the fuck up. We're not doing it. We're not doing One Piece. I know I mentioned a bad word. Let me get in front of that right now. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet. That's an entire
That's
year.
We'll do that on our 10-year anniversary when we're just so fucking sick of it.
But either way, to be top 15, top 10ish kind of range all time in Japan for
It's a big deal.
an anime and a manga that only came to be within the last 5 years is like.
And it's like a
insane.
tie-in. It's not a standalone big blockbuster. It's like a piece of a larger story, right? Like,
Well, I mean, Mugen Train was the same thing, right? Like,
I know.
it's all canon.
and that blows me away too. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
But like, what was interesting about this is like it's kind of a contained story.
it is.
Like you almost don't need to watch it. Whereas,
No, I
like,
agree.
You have to watch Mugen Train in order to
Yeah.
understand what the fuck's going on.
yeah, you're right.
That
Yeah.
being said, if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, you have to watch this. Like,
Yeah, you
don't
do.
take
Yeah.
don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. Like,
Yeah.
definitely go fucking watch this.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like any JJK fan has already watched this. Like, anyone who likes JJK in any capacity has seen it all.
Yeah, there was
Right,
hype
like-
and anticipation without
Right.
a doubt.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like when
And now that it's on Crunchyroll, come on.
yeah, easy access.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, we were super stoked on it. Like, especially watching like this was my second movie anime in theaters.
Yeah, we already established your lies, Mikey.
Fuck you. Okay, let me explain this. All right, because my first one was a Ghibli movie.
Okay.
And fuck, I can't. It was the one about planes. I can't remember what it's called.
Porco Rosso?
No. Wait. Porco Rosso's like so much older.
Oh, Disney's Planes.
Fuck. Holy fuck, I'm gonna fight you. Holy fuck. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, fuck you too, Jay.
Planes. That was a sequel to the classic Cars.
Cars, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
flip this table right now. Guys, I'm already getting sweaty. Holy fuck. Okay. No, but I'm saying like the action and the production level.
Top notch.
Yeah, to see this in theaters on the big screen,
Yeah.
like
It was a joy.
fucking amazing. I wanted to go right
fucked
back
up,
into
Jordy.
Do you want to know the screen? Sit on?
No, I
Was
don't.
it your cell phone? Was it that laptop right there? That piece of shit HP?
Yeah, I did. Actually, not. It was the shittier screen next to it that I watched on.
Oh my god.
That's a shame. That's a shame because
Yeah.
this is a beautiful film.
It looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
It looks great.
Anyways, that's all I got on that one, guys.
right.
Let's dig into the meat of this one.
All right, man. Well, I think we've established that we all liked this movie. It was very enjoyable to watch.
Oh, yeah.
The hype level was massive to the point where I would almost even say there were parts of the movie that were for hype and hype alone. Like
Yeah.
large portions of it.
Well, I know that there's some people that, like even friends of ours who are disappointed with like the Maki scene where she does the splits, right? Because they are like she wasn't initially a very sexualized character,
Yeah.
right? And then so they did that a little bit, but I'm
Well, they
like,
got to sexualize somebody in this movie, and nobody wants to fuck a panda.
Sorry to all of our furry fans
friends,
out there,
Yeah.
but we know
I
you
mean,
do.
I don't know. No king shaming, but definitely I'm gonna just
Mikey, it's funny. It's funny you bring up that scene as being problematic when I know for a fact it was your favorite scene of the entire movie. Okay, you had an audible reaction in the movie theater when she did the splits. Okay?
Was it Ada?
No, what was the guy version that we did on Husbando Wars?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Mikey's doing that for the panda.
No, there was some hype stuff. There was obviously some tie-in stuff that they wanted to tie into the series.
Yeah.
There was a lot of characters that weren't introduced in the manga version of this yet.
Yeah.
They came in the story later once it got into more of like the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff that they retroactively put into this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So the whole other school, the Kyoto school showing up with Toto and Mekamaru.
Yeah.
And like all of them and stuff. Like that cameo, that's put in there because everybody knows them from
It was
the show.
only for hype. Yeah.
It was literally inserted.
Salaryman.
Literally,
shows up.
Salaryman
Yeah.
scene doing Black Flash a record-breaking amount of times is literally a callback to the fact that they say only one person has done that many consecutive Black Flashes. So then you get to see it happen in the movie, and
It was
Yeah.
only
It's for the
to
nerds.
make moviegoers go, oh!
it's for the nerds, man. It's
That's
was it.
exactly
Yeah.
it.
It's for the
That's
mega nerds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly
yes.
it.
Yeah.
And,
it
that,
did
and that
100%.
happened in the theater. There were multiple fucking pops.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
whoever high schoolers were seated around us.
I will say that, like, being not quite that level of mega nerd, those scenes felt heavy-handed and fell a little flat for me. It bothered me a little bit that they pandered, to be honest with you.
it didn't take up too much time.
You're right.
Yeah,
I
it
agree.
didn't.
But
It
it
wa-
was transparent to me, and that bothered me a little bit. Just saying.
They're good, tasteful callbacks. That's how you should be phrasing that.
Maki splits were tasteful.
I just don't.
Go, don't you go there.
Yeah. I just think this movie didn't need them and might have been a better movie without them. Yes, they were tastefully done. Don't get me wrong. But it was obvious what they were going for. And I
Yes.
think the movie would have been a better standalone film if they didn't take that direction, in my opinion.
I think it's an unfortunate symptom of today's kind of culture and today's media and stuff is that
For sure.
everything has to be a callback, everything has to be a tie into something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That, you know, yeah. If you
They're
think,
the reboots and the
if
remakes.
this had been
are
like
all
a
there.
real super faithful adaptation of that initial manga chapter,
Yeah.
it would I don't know, it would feel more its own thing as
Yeah.
opposed to being in service of the first season of the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
but that's
those inclusions make this feel like almost a companion
Yeah.
to the first season of the anime as opposed to like a feature film.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
And they can be connected, and I think all they had to do was remove a few things, and they're still connected in all the ways they need
totally.
to be.
I mean, Gojo's still a number one main
The
character.
shared characters
Yeah.
are still
Exactly.
there
Yeah.
100%, but like it's just those little moments here and there that it's just like this wasn't part of the original vision for this story.
Exactly. And it's not for the sake of the story or the film as an art. It's for the sake of those hype moments. That's it.
So here's my thing with this is that like we always kind of have some sort of qualm if it doesn't fit our current preference, right?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
But I think that with stuff like this, when a mangaka is able to then kind of retcon it a little bit because he wasn't able to originally put it in the manga, right? I think it gives you more of a faithful story.
I don't know if it was Akutami who did that or if it was Park Sung-hoo. Because Park Sung-hoo seemed to be pulling a lot of the strings on what was done when, with the anime starting when it did, the movie Chapter 0 being a film. That wasn't Akutami. The mangaka didn't have any say over how it was adapted.
Yeah.
Only that it would be.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm sure he had a say in like
I hope.
in how the story was gonna go. Like
I hope.
and what because
But that's the thing. These aren't moments that affected the story
At all.
No.
Like Salaryman, Toto, and Mekamaru and that whole crew.
Yeah.
Like those were literally just action set pieces that were integrated into an event that was already happening with the Night March.
Yeah.
or like the ghetto 3-sectional staff, like how Maki says in the season 1, like I hate using this weapon.
Right.
And that was actually
that has narrative reason
Yeah.
though, because like that is Ghetto's like whole deal.
Yeah.
Is that he can summon things like that. You know what I mean? He has an arsenal like that.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
there's like other mentions of that like in the story, I guess, that like kind of makes sense why they would show that. But like literally Toto showing, I love Toto. He's one of my fucking favorite characters. I was so happy when he showed up, but I was still like, why is he here?
Yeah.
Like this is literally so that anybody who watched the show can be like, I know more characters now.
Yeah.
All right.
What they wanted
It's
is
like
for you to
odd
be
fan
like,
service.
my guy showed up, but that
My
it didn't
guy
land
got
for
in
you.
it.
It didn't land for you that way.
Not in that
Yeah.
way. Like I said, it was still my guy, and I was still happy to see him. But
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't need him there.
Yeah.
I didn't need him there.
So you and I agree, and Mikey disagrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
Mikey's just trying to play for team anime.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I'm on Team Shmanime.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move along. Let's. I want to touch on the world, even though we already know this world very well. One thing I will say is when I started this movie, and my first thought immediately was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about this show." Like it took me by surprise. Like, oh right, this
I like
show.
this show.
Like I forgot about a lot.
It's got it's got a very unique kind of flavor with
Yeah.
like the way they handle the cursed energy.
Yeah.
And like
And what
the
I will
school
say-
and the fighting, like it's very recognizable when you get a taste for it again. You're like,
Immediately,
oh,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
yes.
But what I will say is they did a great job kind of recapping and throwing me back in. Like they kind of early on explain a bunch of the shit I forgot about the curses and how different people are able to harness cursed energy or like cursed items, you know what I mean? And at first I was immediately like, oh, I forget everything about how this works. But then they gave it to me and I was like, oh, not only do I remember, but I think I understand it better now.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it was. I mean, it would have been explained.
Yeah.
In that initial manga.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
written.
Yeah.
Because that was the first opportunity for them to explain the story. And
It's the foundation.
mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you generally hate magic, so having the foundation probably made it way better.
It made it palatable.
Oh,
Period.
fuck off.
I'm sorry, dude.
Palatable?
No, I'm saying
Palatable.
I'm saying if you don't give me a foundation, it is immediately not palatable. That's what I'm saying. Personally.
Palatable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, out of all the words he could have used,
The least palatable word. Palatable.
Hey. I don't know what to tell
I think
you.
you need to refine your palate.
I think you need to fuck right off. I have a very refined palate. I read Nietzsche, and I referred to him in this already once before.
Let me lead you from world into art by
Yeah.
saying that the world was beautifully rendered.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Visuals are unfucking touchable.
Yes.
It's the most beautiful animation I've seen yet. Period.
I think top to bottom, yeah. Like doing the rewatch, and as soon as it dropped on Crunchyroll, I watched it right away.
Yeah.
I was once again just being like, wow, they fucking spared no expense. Like I don't think they could have done any more with it.
Yeah.
Than they did.
Also, I'll add too, and this is something for all of Jujutsu Kaisen, but it does extend to this as well too, is there's restraint shown that you don't see in a lot of animes that go whole hog like this. Like specifically in character design, a lot of them are very simple but effective, and like, not to do a throwback to like a qualm I had in the past, but like very few clowny characters. Do you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that to a degree that you guys probably don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like, who would be clowny
in this?
Like, there's not really any.
There were some pretty clowny characters in Ghetto.
Some of the curses and demons,
side.
absolutely.
Yeah, Ghetto's side for sure.
I mean, he flies in on a giant fucking pelican.
Okay,
that's true.
That's
yeah.
fair.
They all hop out of the pelican's mouth like it's a clown car.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't the one dude have hearts for nipples?
I don't remember that.
No, I think that's in the series.
Is that in? Oh, that's in the
that's
show?
in the series. Yeah, in the show.
Okay.
I don't remember that anyways.
That was at the end there, like where.
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
I
man.
forget things, dude. Things like that wouldn't land for me. Anyways, another thing that's art-wise that we should talk about is the fucking fight scenes.
Yes, they're beautiful.
Not to mention beautiful, but choreography alone is unbelievable. Demon Slayer still might top for choreography. Some of those battles were unfucking believable, but this is right up there, side by side.
I would honestly argue that this one is, I think, a bit better because there just seems to be a bit more of a grittiness to it and like a more urgency.
Okay.
Not to say that Demon Slayer didn't have any urgency, because there's a lot of fucking urgency in that movie or the series.
Yeah.
But I think all of the other thematic things that were happening in Demon Slayer kind of sometimes might take or that's where they're putting their energy in.
Sure.
Right? Like the waves or the fire and things like that. And I know you get to see the black flash in here and whatnot, but I don't know. There's just something about this one that just seems way grittier that just kind of appeals to me way more.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
For me, with the choreography and stuff, it like the big difference between this and like a Demon Slayer would be, with Demon Slayer, for me, it's the cinematography.
Yeah.
It's the angles you get.
Totally.
It's the movement. It's the way that the camera seems to be moving through the space and the way they can kind of capture that. Same with Attack on Titan. This though is like combat choreography.
Yeah.
Yes,
like as if it's a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Like this is something that, like, if you're a stunt man and you do martial arts, you would watch this show and be like, oh yeah, they got the right people working on this.
Yeah.
Because I would shoot a live action fight
The same way.
Yeah,
100%.
And that's why it feels so tactile. You feel the hits, you feel the motion and the movement.
Yeah.
The camera moves are not as crazy as Demon Slayer.
Right.
They're
That's
really
kind of
not.
why I think I was
The
saying
sweeping
Demon Slayer
shots,
might
the
still.
sweeping shots you get of Rengoku as he fires up,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
swishes back to Akaza, and he's getting his fucking little snowflake shit going. Like, that's so dramatic in the movement of it, but they're not doing much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just stance and then movement and flying, whereas this is like fucking
they're going at it
you're
with each other.
This is
fucking-
real
you're
combat.
seeing real hits, like real kung fu, like real like.
All right,
actual
you convinced
shit.
me. This is better.
Yeah,
It's way better.
It's better, yeah, it's
exactly.
much
So that's
better,
what you're saying exactly like what
cool.
I was thinking,
Nice,
right?
yeah.
Like you're saying the thematic versions of him taking those poses,
Yeah.
like Rengoku taking
Yeah,
those poses, right?
exactly.
Where it's like you got martial arts, right? This is JJK's martial, and then Demon Slayer's art,
Yeah.
right? So
Exactly.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
I could see, like, if I was going to recommend, if I had an artist friend and a friend who did martial arts, one's getting Jujutsu Kaisen and the other one's getting Demon Slayer.
Yeah. Sure.
And I know very easily which one is
Yes,
which.
For sure.
'Cause
exactly.
I know they're going to
Yeah.
appreciate it differently.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Do you have, Jay, Mr. Art Guy, do you have more to say about the art? Other than that, it's just fucking beautiful.
just like the keyframe animation was like bananas. I mean, the regular frames throughout this are definitely a step above anything you're going to get out of the show. But there were, of course, those key frames. Those close-ups, those zoomed in shots, like those moments where they really wanted a huge reveal or like a really
to drive some
impactful
emotion
moment.
home or something.
There's a few close-ups on Geto's face, on Yuta's face, where you're just like, oh my god, like it harkens,
details.
yeah, it harkens back to like Ninja Scroll, like like the golden age, like 90s style of animation where like you always knew when they brought in those big guns.
Yeah.
The heavy hitters.
The close up, the portraits, the full detail, you're getting the highlights, all the full shading.
Yeah.
You're not just getting 2 or 3 shades of skin, you're getting like depth. You're getting like
You're also getting like
there.
fades instead of like straight blocks between
yeah,
the
it's not
shading.
cell shaded anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're getting proper gradients. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's
exactly.
like, it's extra care was taken all over this. And I mean, I don't know. You have to be like truly not paying attention to watch the show and watch this and not feel the step up on this. It's so
Or be watching it on the screen that I'm
Did
watching.
you say it's so palatable?
palpable.
Oh, palpable.
Oh, that's a very good word, Jay.
Thank you. Much more palatable.
Okay.
Motherfucker.
Oh my God. All right,
anyways.
Anyway.
We're gonna move to music. I have one note about music.
Yeah.
Because that intro song made me fucking laugh so hard, dude.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Why?
Here's why. Okay, because it starts off.
You're like King New.
I don't know what that means.
That's who did it.
Okay, well, it starts off as like I'm listening to like a lo-fi beats playlist, right? Like the Study Girl with the cat.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, there's like a random Howard Jones Kill Switch Engage vocalist who just comes in out of nowhere, and I'm like, all right, that's a choice. And then like pretty quickly, it switches to just a full-on new metal tune.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing here?
Yo,
What are you going for?
He's taking you on a journey.
Yeah, I think so. A weird
Right?
one. A fucking weird one.
I mean, this was a journey, so
Yeah.
let's be real here.
When the clean singing comes in,
it made me laugh so hard, dude.
I could not take it seriously at all, man.
yeah.
The best thing is though, and like I may be way off base here and like way offside saying this, but like I can't help but feel like people in Japan when he comes in are probably just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. But I was gonna
Cool.
say that's a cultural thing though, right? Because
Yeah.
here
Yes.
that's very cheesy, like
Because
that's
it's
not-
so Western.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing, right? Like if you look at any of the music that we listen to in North America compared to like how much you love K-pop, right?
100%.
And now you too.
It's the
You
inverse.
motherfucker.
I do.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
You got me with
It's
some
just
of
the
them.
flip side.
Yeah.
100%.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like all that K-pop stuff is like an amalgamation of all these different transitions of different styles. It's just straight fusion music at
It
that
is,
point,
You're right.
truly.
right? So I totally get it, and
I think the only thing with this song is it's fusion, but it's like kind of janky the way everything's fused together.
But some of those
it's not
K-pop
smooth
songs
at all.
are janky too.
Not the ones I listen to, bro.
Yeah, because they cater towards your Western taste.
Yeah. And thank
This
you.
one,
for them
this
for
one,
doing
this
it.
one tried to and didn't
No.
do it.
No, yeah.
Did it pretty poorly.
You know what? I still say, no matter what, out of all the music that JJK has offered, the outro song from season 1 is still the best.
Yeah, you love
Oh,
that
yeah.
shit.
I fucking love
Lost
that
in
shit.
Paradise.
Yeah, Lost
Love
in
that shit.
Paradise. Holy fuck, I still love it.
I like
Yeah.
I like the Eve track that starts off the show as well. It starts off the anime. It's a good track. But yeah, anyways, music was solid.
Other than that, it was just great. Yeah, my note is top-notch anime tunes. Everything
Yeah.
just fits how it should.
Yeah.
It does the job.
I think I would put, if I was to rank them, I would put the outro song on the top. And while you're listening to the outro song, you're also subscribing.
I fucking knew you were going there, you son of a bitch.
I was like, wait, why are we going back to the outro songs?
Yeah, so we know you like it, Mikey.
Yeah.
All right, get over it. Move on.
Should have known then. I was definitely the lady doing the math with the head there for a second.
I gotta put that scene in like Beautiful Mind. I think it's Beautiful Mind with all the numbers,
math,
like,
all the numbers,
calculation
yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Anyway,
like and subscribe.
like and subscribe.
Please.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell a friend. Please tell a friend. If you like our content, and share it around with other people. We would
Yeah.
love that.
Hell yeah. Tell us how palatable we are.
And maybe. Okay, I'll let that one go.
Thank you. All right. Do you guys want to talk about characters?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about it.
What do you
then.
mean? Like, we're just gonna skim over characters?
No, I'm just trying to be nice.
Well, I mean, we
No.
have talked about a lot of these characters.
We have.
Before.
Yeah.
Let's breeze
Not
over
all
some
of them, but
Not all of them, but like we've got two big ones right here,
Yep.
right? Like,
one big one, one little one.
well,
Yeah. They both kind of
Yuta
count
and
as one
Rika.
to me because Venom. Like, in my opinion.
We're not allowed to be friends anymore.
I thought you liked Venom.
I do. It's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're so upset with you right now.
Sorry.
I'm just honoring your guys' love for
People
Venom.
are going to back you
Yeah.
up in the comments. I know it. They're gonna
Of
be like,
course
Yeah,
they will,
that's
because
true.
I'm right most of the time. And everyone knows that. Okay, let's talk about Yuta. So to me, there was a lot of Yuji in Yuta.
Yeah, I think he's technically the archetype for Yuji.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
I didn't feel that was heavy-handed, to be honest with you, as much as I felt like it should be. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? That's a weird sentence to say.
Yeah, well, no, I think what you're trying to say is like, because he was technically the archetype, they also couldn't make him, like Yuji, so close to Yuta. They had to have a difference, especially because how Yuji is so strong in character.
That's what I was going to say. As characters, very different. But as elements in the plot, they serve the same purpose. Do you know what I mean? They're both kind of like outsiders that Gojo brings in. Everyone else is kind of freaked out that they're even there.
They're the WMD.
Yeah, exactly.
That's they're
Exactly.
the atomic bomb.
Exactly.
At a hair trigger.
Yeah.
That could kill everybody.
And they're
probably.
both kind of like reluctant powerhouses that has
Yes.
everyone shook by their presence. You know what I mean?
Yes, which is like a tale as old as time in the anime world.
Yeah.
The reluctant powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tale as old as
The
time.
re-
in
the
just
reluctant chosen
writing
one.
Yeah.
and fiction in general.
It's why this guy exists, right?
Well, One Punch Man Saitama.
Yeah, he's a parody of it.
He's a parody of it.
exactly.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. It's why he
100%.
exists.
Yeah.
100%.
Are you impressed with my like anime knowledge?
Yeah, actually, considering you haven't seen One Punch yet.
No, but I hang out with you fucks all the time, so I'm
so
bound to
very-
absorb some shit.
That's
You're
very
gonna love
true.
One Punch.
Yeah, you're
Yeah?
gonna love One Punch,
yeah.
especially once we finish DBZ.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hope I love it because DBZ is a struggle.
You bite your tongue.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, we've already established he's cursed by a girl who he kind of used to love, and she like defends him kind of against his will, right? And he is kind of
Are you getting in the plot now?
no. This is a character point,
Oh, okay,
right? Because
okay,
what
okay.
I'm gonna say is like he's kind of helpless to that fact, and he's like kind of scared of it at 1st Do you know what I mean?
He has no fucking idea what's going on.
He has no idea. And then on top
Nobody
of it all,
taught him.
something that I'm thinking in my head is like, how many fucking murders has this guy witnessed on his own behalf?
He's
Oh,
lived
yeah.
so many years with Rika
Yeah.
before Gojo.
They
gets
don't even
him.
get
Yeah.
into what that was like.
Yeah.
But I bet
Yeah.
you it was fucking hell.
But I think that's the thing, right? Where this is where I like Yuta a little bit more, or much more than Yuji.
Yeah.
Is because even though at the beginning he was so much a wiener,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like he doesn't know he's kind of frail. He's
Yeah.
kind of like in his shell. You get so much more character depth with him because of the trauma that he's gone through, right? Where Yuji, he's the all-star athlete. He's the cool guy that doesn't actually care to be cool,
Yeah.
and he likes his nerd friends, right? And where Yuta is like he has to grow.
Here's why I think I like Yuji better for that exact reason is because Yuta's growth was very plainly laid out before we even knew it was going to happen. You know what I mean? You knew the whole movie is set up for him eventually to own it.
Conquer the curse.
It's all about him owning his power. Yuji, on the other hand, is a bit more of a wild card. Yes, eventually he's going to conquer it, but it's going to be a bit more of a weird, twisty, turny, rocky road for him to get there, and I like that better.
I tend to agree just because like I think with Yuji like he gets the way he finds himself in the thick of the situation is so fucking random.
Yeah.
And so like obscure.
Yeah.
That it's like how did like the complexity with which he got himself into the situation and will eventually maybe get himself out of the situation is so immense. With Yuta is very linear. It's like he's getting in because of Rika. And how is he going to get out? Dealing and conquering Rika. Like
Yeah.
that's his path forward. With Yuji, it's all over the fucking place. And one of the
Totally.
big things with Yuji is that, yeah, Yuji's kind of aloof and he's kind of like having fun and he's kind of like, a cool guy and like, is unaware of how good he is at fighting and all that. But when shit gets real with him, when people start actually dying in the show, when he realizes that curse that he just killed was a person,
Yeah.
that hits him so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been surrounded by death his whole life the
Yeah.
way that Yuta has. Yuta's been surrounded by people dying constantly.
Totally.
So when it happens to Yuji, you see that hit him with the full fucking weight of like,
Totally.
oh my God, I have to fucking kill people.
And like I said, that's an unexpected growth for a character like him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like his growth,
Yeah.
you see it. You see the
Yeah.
path to it.
I guess I don't know,
You
man.
see the trauma, you see the growth,
Yeah.
you see this way out.
Yuji, you didn't see that. You didn't expect that to happen to Yuji. You didn't see that coming. It just occurred.
no,
and you're like,
that's
whoa.
not to take away anything
Yeah.
from Yuta's character because I agree fully that like Yuta's story is an incredible arc.
Yeah.
It's rich. There's so much depth to it, and I think that it's more impactful why Yuta's involved in the story.
sure.
There's more emotional weight to his involvement, whereas with Yuji, he fucking ate the finger. You know what I mean? Like that's
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
so like
okay,
like
okay,
on one
okay.
hand, Mikey, I get it where like
Yeah.
that's small potatoes compared to
Yeah.
a young boy losing his best friend and potentially love of his life in a horrific
Yeah.
way. There's emotional weight and gravity to that. So kudos to him, but kudos to Yuji for becoming the most powerful being on planet Earth because he ate a fucking gross rotten finger
Yeah.
in a moment of desperation. That has weight in a chaotic way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I do.
Two sides of the coin,
Yeah.
that's
Two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
I think for me, a lot of the times too, is especially knowing like with like his history, right, growing up and all that trauma, I just kind of like relate to that a little bit more.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Or like sympathize with that a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess that's why I like him so much more. Where
Sure.
usually you don't get that same kind of backstory, right?
I prefer
Yeah.
a weird, quirky character personally like that. That's just my personal
Well,
opinion,
that's the
though,
thing.
yeah.
That's what you're getting. You're getting Yuta, who like is already cursed when you see him, and then there's Yuta, who you watch him become cursed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and those are two different experiences to watch somebody go through. You're getting somebody
Yes.
already in the thick of it,
Yeah.
getting out,
Yeah.
versus somebody out of it, getting into the thick of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that little trade-off, and that's why they did it like the way they did, I guess,
Yeah.
with the
I mean,
structure.
also, the other thing too, though, is for just anime watchers and not manga readers, right? It's
That's
like-
me.
Yeah, right. So like, we don't know how Yuta is going to affect the rest of JJK.
That's
I do.
true.
Yeah, of course you do. I know you do.
That was a kind of a comment I had on this movie earlier too that I didn't say, but like I felt like, and I'm gonna get fucking slammed for this by you guys and maybe other people, but I felt like this movie didn't actually serve the series as much as I wanted it to.
Right,
But that's because you didn't watch the damn end credits.
No. It's not just that. As soon as season 2 starts of the
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
which you will watch,
Yes.
Apparently,
you will.
I
have
want to.
to.
I do want to.
As
for
soon
sure,
as
yeah.
it starts, it will make perfect sense.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
It will, and
right.
I'll tell you that, and like this is like spoilers, not spoilers. If you read the manga, as soon as the first season of the show story ends in the manga, huge flashback.
Oh, okay.
Huge part of the story now takes place before this movie even takes place.
Okay. So we're getting into the lore. We're getting into.
You're going way back, and
we go
and
into Gojo and Geto era.
You're going way back, is all I'm saying, and
I like that.
and so much of what you get in this movie gets recontextualized and fleshed out.
All right.
It was actually really exciting to watch the show, go see the movie, and then immediately pick up the manga, because I was like, I don't know, the way they've structured this is like
It's interesting.
weird,
It's strange,
but
but
it's kind of fucking genius. the
kind
way
of
they're doing
effective,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of genius.
yeah.
I don't know.
Sick.
As long as I get more of my Gojo, my husband.
You want to talk about Gojo? He's another character. There's not much more to say about him. He's still good old classic Gojo.
Yeah, he is.
We can't
it-
say enough amazing things about
No.
him, including
No.
the way in which he could potentially give orgasms,
Yeah.
which we talked about on our Husbando Wars episode.
Everything.
Go watch it.
and nothing all at once.
Go watch our Husbando Wars
Yeah.
episode, guys.
Most mind blowing.
Yeah.
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 Mikey's into it.
I'm into
These
it.
things are here because of Mikey thinking about Gojo.
It's
true.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Our new
Limitless.
banners are here.
Yeah.
Limitless possibilities.
Yeah. One thing about Gojo in this film is that he shows a little bit of of weakness in this movie that we haven't seen in him before. You know what I mean? He has a bit of a soft spot specifically to Geto.
Yeah.
A, because they have a history, and B, because he's kind of scared of him. A little bit.
Not in the sense that he's scared of him as far as power levels go.
He's shook by his power a little bit.
I don't think so. I think it's based on how much he cares for him, and he doesn't know himself what he is going to be able to do, whether or not he is going to, be able to stop him
Okay.
in a way that's, I guess, that kind of is righteous or
Like, do you think maybe he's worried he might have to kill this guy who he kind of loves?
That's the main.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Is will I get pushed to this point? But also, Gojo is uniquely aware of Geto's capabilities.
Yeah.
and is aware of how much damage and death he
Yeah.
could cause.
Yeah.
If he gets pushed to a point where it's full blown
Yeah.
war, which
Yeah.
of course does happen.
For sure.
You know?
I think regardless of why, what you see in Gojo is that he senses the gravity of what's going on. Whereas before, he's always kind of like aloof and like kind of having a good time, even though things are intense. Like he's always kind of just that cool guy. And in this film, you see finally where he's like, oh, actually, like it's a fucking a bit heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, something that I don't think you realize until you kind of hear Gojo refer to Geto as his friend or his best friend
Yeah.
several times is that like you never really get a sense that Gojo has any friends.
Yeah.
In the
He's a
first
lone
show.
wolf, big time.
He's a teacher.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's teaching the students. They have to be around him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But-
Oftentimes they fucking hate being around him.
Yeah. And so do other teachers. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't fit
Yeah.
in with them either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't really seem to have any real close friends or anything. So like, you know, adds more gravity, obviously, to the relationship that you kind of see he does have with Geto.
And also, I'd say to the relationship he has with Yuji as well, too.
eventually,
He
yes.
kind of gloms onto him as like a big brother kind of type, right? Like,
Yeah.
seems to
that's-
glom on to whoever he can.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. He's a glommer.
It's interesting depth of character for like the strongest character in the whole show, the hot guy of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The chosen one amongst the different families because of the three main families, like the Gojo family, like provided the chosen one, which is him. Like
But
he's a big
I think
deal.
that's why he's such a good character, right? Because he doesn't conform,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
and you know, for someone who has been a rebel with no cause for my entire life,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Just trying not to conform to whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's such a cool way to go about it. There's a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Right. And because I really believe that sometimes freedom is a mindset more than anything.
For sure.
And so many other people just don't see that. And to see a character like really embody that in an anime is so cool.
It's kind of badass.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I also think what this movie does too is that it makes him the main character of the franchise. Like up till now,
Yeah.
it was Yuji,
Yeah.
but now it's not. Now it's him.
It really is. Like when I think of JJK, like I really do think of
It's his
Gojo,
story. It's
like,
his story.
a lot.
It's his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's not like quite in it like all the way through all the scenes.
Right.
Like I know it's such a strange energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange energy.
I feel like a weird like sort of like fortune teller or something. I have way too much information.
You know too
about-
much? Just shut your mouth.
I'm like
Shut your mouth.
so many story arcs
Just shut your mouth.
past where the anime ended in the
Yeah.
manga, and like
Yeah.
I could answer so many of
Don't do
all
it.
of your questions.
Just
like,
don't do it.
so
Don't do
easily
it.
right now.
Don't do
Don't do
it.
it.
I know.
We're
We're
only
an
spoiling.
anime podcast.
I know.
We're not a manga podcast. Maybe we will do the flip the script and do manga schmanga.
You want to.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just.
Mikey
I,
has a hard on for Dick Fight Island.
Yeah, I want to do that so bad.
I know you do.
It's just gonna be so good. It'll be so funny, man.
this story is just so good. I just can't imagine not like knowing that there's like a easily digestible manga out there for the rest of the story that you can
Yeah.
just get it like now.
I don't have time for that though. In my life.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this if you guys didn't force me to watch it.
You know, so what's funny? Yeah, what's funny is I actually started reading manga again
Yeah.
because my wife was lovely enough to get me an iPad for my birthday.
Nice. You know manga exists on paper too, right?
Yes, but I am also very, very poor.
Yeah, it's
fair
much
enough.
cheaper.
Oh, that's a good point.
Much cheaper.
Are you
online.
trying to say you're stealing it for
No,
free?
I'm not saying that I'm stealing it for free or
Crunchyroll has a ton of
Crunchyroll.
manga.
Oh,
yeah,
does it?
Crunchyroll has a ton of manga.
Oh,
That's what it
sick.
started as.
Yeah.
I can read it too on my screen.
Yes.
My really good screen.
But
Anyways, you're gonna read the manga of this now too. You're gonna surpass
no.
me in knowledge for the show.
no. My thing is I think what I want to do is I want to only read the mangas of animes that have finished without like have completed. They're not going to come out with the rest of the
I
story.
see. So because you're an anime guy, you want to consume the story in anime form.
yes.
Unless it's not available in anime form, then you want to continue the story in manga form
Yes.
because then you get more.
Yes,
I get
exactly.
you. I agree with you. I hear you.
Because like I mean, JJK is so fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right. They're gonna finish it eventually. Right. Like they have to. I mean, they did it with AOT. Like AOT is gonna be finished. We know that.
Yeah.
They did it with AOT.
They had to change it a bit. It's
As
just like they did
somebody
it
who
with
read
Game of Thrones,
somebody
right?
who
Like,
read every fucking chapter of Attack on Titan, literally every single one. They did it. You know?
Yeah.
And, and this is the problem, dude, is like, yeah, they might do all of Jujutsu Kaisen, but like in 20 years, dude.
Yeah. But
At
I
the
guess
rate they're going.
here's the other thing that and why I don't read the manga for some of this stuff because the manga is it's like books, right? The manga and the books are always going to be better than any movie or TV show adaptation.
And you don't want to ruin the anime
And I don't want to ruin the anime.
by
and then I
reading
can
the
go,
better version.
So you're choosing the inferior
You're
version.
choosing the shittier version.
You both, mother.
You're saying it. We're just translating your own
Yeah,
words.
you just said that.
Yeah.
I'm choosing it until it's done to the extent that it can be, and then I will go back so that I can end my
Okay.
experience of said
understand.
series.
You're gonna reread
I understand.
the anime once it's done in manga form.
That
Yes.
makes sense to me because
Right,
he
like-
doesn't want to ruin the fact that the anime will be good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you read the manga, then you're going to be disappointed in the anime if you read the manga
Yes.
first.
Not necessarily.
Not
So,
all. I mean,
Yeah.
you just said with Attack on Titan that they did it.
They did
but,
it,
and
yeah.
but there are pros and cons.
Yeah.
Like there are some things that are going to be a much better experience in anime form. I think Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid is a perfect example of something that fares way better in anime form
Yeah.
than it does in manga.
What do you
way
know about
better.
that? What do you know about that show?
Nothing at all.
Yeah,
Nothing.
apparently.
Nothing. Just eating weird dragon tails.
I'm just saying, there's definitely
Yeah.
there's pros and cons to doing it either way.
Yeah.
For me, if you're hungry for the story and you just can't wait, you fucking do it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like
I mean, people do whatever the fuck you want.
I-
At
Oh,
the
does
end
that
of the
mean I
day.
can watch dubs now?
No.
I'm so glad that I've chosen to read certain stories that I know that, like, yeah, we're gonna get to probably the end of the Tokyo Revengers story in 2035. Literally,
Yeah.
like that's not an exaggeration. At the
just
rate
keeps
they're
going,
going,
yeah.
that is when you guys will probably see the end of the story. I'm gonna get it like next year.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
you're
like,
just a
and-
fiend.
and-
You're a
and-
fiend.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like if you are, and if you want it out,
Yeah.
and you want it, it's there. Like
You need your
fucking,
fix.
Absorb it.
Okay.
Look,
Like Cell.
like in
Don't absorb it
Gingertown.
that way.
Yeah.
Don't do it that way.
Yeah.
That doesn't end well.
Soulless.
Yeah.
But
Oh
you
my
know
God.
what, though? At the end of the day, I'm probably going to eventually just hop on that once I've kind of.
You'll run out of patience, man.
Well, that's knowing myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm going to once I
will.
go through all of the ones that are on my list
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
I'll end up jumping on it.
Yeah, because you have no self-control.
Oh, absolutely not. I have such poor impulse control.
All three of us do, because we are in the weeds on this one, guys.
Holy
We're still
shit.
talking about fucking characters, okay?
Let's take a quick
Okay.
second to talk about Ghetto because I know you want to.
We have to.
Yeah.
He is literally the main antagonist
Yeah.
of maybe the whole story.
This
so.
movie kind of serves to make him a more believable villain. That's one of the main purposes this movie exists, right?
Yes, and,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
also, interestingly enough, seems to die at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that was strange, right?
Yeah.
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 You don't.
Well, no, I mean, I guess, if people put two and two together, you might notice a specific detail on Ghetto's face in the show as
Oh, yeah.
opposed to in the movie.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't put two together, but I'm a fucking idiot. So
It's
didn't I
right
say before
there
we started this
on
podcast
the
that
face.
this podcast makes me look stupid?
Yeah, a little bit.
Point. in
Giant
case.
stitches right across
Yeah.
the forehead.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of significance to that,
Yeah.
which anybody who knows, if you know, you know.
You know. You know.
But yeah, just very interesting though that this character is so mysterious throughout the first season of the show.
Totally.
You see him very sparingly, but there's this ominousness to him.
Yeah.
And then you find out the prequel movie is all about him.
Yeah.
And then he's dead at the end.
Not to make another Hogwarts parallel, but he's kind of like a Voldemort in the season 1, where he's like growing his power and waiting for his time to come back.
Yeah, and
Yeah, exactly.
well, and that he wants all the muggles dead and all of the magic people
Yeah,
to live.
yeah.
exactly. That's
It's
the Ubermensch.
literally-
It's an archetype,
Exactly.
age-old
Oh,
archetype.
shit.
Yeah.
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 I want all the muggles dead.
He's a Voldemort.
Fuck.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh
brilliant.
man,
Yeah.
that realization.
Except
hurt
he
me a
calls
little
them
bit.
monkeys.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's Voldemort.
Yeah.
What I like here too is you see like where his ambition comes from. You get to see why he grew to have that like power, that hunger for the power. Do you know what I mean? Like why he thinks he needs to do what he needs to do, right? Which is kind of cool. I
Yeah.
appreciate that about him.
Yeah, you get some context. You get a little, and actually, I was surprised rewatching it because I read a lot more about him and his backstory, like in the manga, and so like I didn't realize how much the movie actually does give you
Right.
about why Ghetto is the way he is and
Yeah.
why he's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And like I was actually very surprised at how much detail they give you in the movie as to his origin story.
Totally.
It's so important for who he is as a character and the sympathy you end up having for him.
Because actually looking back on when we did our season 1 episode, you were all about him as a character, and I was like, I don't really get him. I didn't get him. So I
For
don't
me,
know.
it was the mystique. I knew jack shit about him at the time. I didn't have the.
I was going to
the
ask if
mangas.
you knew or not.
No, I had
Okay.
no idea. But I was like, that's why I was so intrigued because I'm like, why do I still care?
But you're smart
about
also.
him.
You catch on because you knew like they're gonna expand on this. I know
Yes.
they're going to. I didn't at the time know that. I was like, I'm an idiot.
I also enjoy the whole Thanos complex. Of
course you do.
right? Like,
Yeah, this is well established, Mikey.
yeah.
It was well established.
I have a lane, guys. I have a lane.
Yeah. The only
I
difference
enjoy my
between
lane.
Ghetto and Thanos is that Ghetto's like, no, these people.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's not trying to
He's
balance
not-
the scales.
Yeah.
He's like, no, those losers.
Like he
Make
like,
them
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, Thanos isn't trying to commit direct genocide.
Yeah.
Where Ghetto is trying to make
Totally.
direct genocide.
Exactly. It's also there's parallels with parallels. There's parallels with Magneto and the X-Men because
Yes.
doesn't at one point he try to wipe out all non-mutant kind for whatever reason?
Yeah, where he tries to turn all non-mutants into mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same Ubermensch complex.
Well,
It's-
Ghetto would have no problem if all non-curse users were able to use curse
Totally.
energy. Like,
Yeah.
that would solve his problem.
Yeah, that's just way harder than just murdering them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, do we want to start breezing through plot? Because we are fucking running out of time.
Yeah,
Yes, go.
let's rip.
There's a lot to talk about.
Let's
Okay,
go.
so right off the top, the plot, like I said, is kind of obvious, right? Like we meet our new guy, Utah, and he's the first cursed like kid on the school grounds. Like that's like a new thing that's never happened before. I think they established they're scared of him. He's maybe the most powerful. I don't know. Either way, everyone's shook that he's there.
Utah?
Yeah.
No, it
No.
opens up with him
you're
being
talking-
bullied in a classroom
Yeah.
by a bunch of big dudes, and he's like freaking out. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
please
yeah,
stop,
yeah,
please
you're
stop.
right. I forgot about
And then
that
all
scene.
of a sudden, like it flashes, and then the guys have been turned into like weird
Yeah.
blood mush in the locker.
Yeah.
and the
Blood
blood
mush.
and the blood seeps out of the locker and like
Oh, yeah,
floods
you're right.
around Utah as he sits there crying.
Yeah.
Right. I
I
forgot
think-
completely about that scene until you said it.
Start of the whole movie.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I think the scene that you're talking about is when he finally goes to the JJK
When Gojo
school.
gets him, yeah, Gojo brings him.
and then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
three students are like,
I don't know why in
what
my
the
head
fuck?
that's where it starts.
But yeah, no, he gets introduced to the crew.
Yeah. In the same way, might add that Yuji does. Like Gojo basically is like, I don't care that nobody wants you here. I'm bringing you in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, he meets Inumaki and he's
Yeah.
weirded out by him and gets Maki's deal eventually and
Yeah.
is very confused by Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I also would be like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I also
the best
would be.
part though is Gojo giving the intros.
yeah.
And he like gives everybody's background, like, yeah, that's Inumaki. He's from the Curse Speech clan.
Yeah.
He only speaks in rice, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maki from the Zenin clan, and one of the big three families. And that's Panda. Anyways, and then he just moves on, and then he's just like, that was the one I wanted the most.
Yeah.
And he didn't give it to me.
Yeah. Panda's a big time comic relief character in this movie. He wasn't
Yeah.
so much in the show, but in this, he big time is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we get filled in on Yuta's backstory, right? We learn about how he kind of like was best friend / loved this girl, and it's awkward and cute, and then like immediately I know she's gonna die, and it's gonna fucking break my heart. And then what happens? Exactly that.
And she dies horrifically.
Oh yeah, like
horrifically.
They did not pull any punches with the brutality
like
of this
hit by a
little girl's
bus
death.
and then close up to her mangled body,
Scraped across the pavement.
and crawling like, or that's I guess her spirit or whatever. Right?
It was her cursed form
Yeah.
crawling out of
Technically,
her
she should have
pool
just
of
been
blood,
isekai after she got hit by the bus.
right?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Fairy dust.
yeah.
That's it.
That's what this movie. It's an isekai. She's the main
isekai.
character.
But yeah, I remember being like taken aback by the brutality
Yeah,
Yeah.
of her death.
totally. It like made me feel Made in Abyss feelings.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yes, but they that's the point here.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So now we know about his curse and what's going on with him, right?
Yes.
So Gojo, as I stated earlier, like has to explain himself to the school council, and they're just like, I don't think you should have brought him here, and he just doesn't give a fuck
Yeah.
at all. And so yeah, then he introduces. Oh, we already talked about this. He introduces Yuta to the team, and they try to fight Rika. Like right away, they're like, "No, we got to fight this thing," and they all get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
Which was
Well, as
kind
soon
of
as he
funny.
walks in the room,
Yeah.
they can all sense her
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And they're all immediately like, what the fuck? Is this a test? Are
Yeah.
you fucking with us? And the kid's just walking into the room and they're just like, Maki's like at his neck with her fucking
Spear,
weapon.
yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So then Gojo takes him on a mission with Maki. They go to this school and he's like, yeah, there's a curse here that's taken 2 kids hostage. They might be dead, but we got to figure out what's going on. And right away, there's a couple of like fast curses.
Yeah.
Like little guys, they're kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
And
Creepy.
Yeah,
Creepy.
exactly. And so they're fighting them, whatever, and they get fucked up right away, which is like kind of a taste for us and them, right? Because Yuta's never had to fight curses before.
Yeah.
So it's like the first taste. And then they all get swallowed by this massive curse.
Big one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're inside its stomach, and the 2 kids are in there as well, too. And then we learn that because Yuta has like he's got a curse, he's got cursed energy, he's immune to what's happening to the non-cursed beings that are in the belly. They all start fainting. And he basically like harnesses his like strength, he musters up the strength. And he sort of convinces Rika to like work with him, and she explodes out of his body and starts ripping this giant curse's face apart with her hands.
Fucking sweet.
Brutally.
Yeah.
So that
Sheer
scene,
rage.
Yeah, like
was-
animalistic,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
violence. Yeah.
Yes.
Mwah.
Yeah.
I never give things a chef's kiss, but mwah.
And this
It
is
was good,
and,
man,
and this
yeah.
is notable, especially because
Yeah.
it's the first time that Yuta is able to bring Rika out like
Yeah,
more
at
or less
will.
on command.
Yeah.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
tool. As a tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but he has to do it sneakily. He has to convince her, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she doesn't
Yeah.
come out unless she wants to.
It's not like a Pokemon where he's like, Rika, I choose you.
no, no.
Yeah, it's less of a tool and more of a like, he's got to be strategic about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, he like emotionally carries like the burden of the 3
Yeah.
passed out characters.
Step by step.
Yeah. And because Rika's not in him anymore, he's literally just a human in this moment,
Yeah.
no curse. And he's like crying and carrying them all. Yeah, it's fucking.
And meanwhile, she's still on the roof. You see her out of focus,
Ripping everything.
still just ripping
Yeah.
this thing to
Yeah,
shreds.
yeah, losing it. Too funny, man.
But I mean, like that's because that's his. This is still his wiener moments, right?
What
Like,
they're trying to do is humanize him beyond his
Yeah.
curse, right? They're
Yes.
trying to make you remember like this is a guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The guy, the growth is the guy, not the super guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so then we're back at school, and Gojo. There's a weird scene where Gojo like takes some of Yuta's curse and puts it in a sword.
Oh.
Like
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
he
yeah.
basically just says to him like, "Hey, you got this massive curse in you. Let me take some and put it in the sword."
No, so it's essentially for him to have a tool to focus his cursed energy.
Essentially, he makes a cursed item.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
I think
Sort of.
I think he gives him a cursed item, like the
Yeah.
sword
Yeah.
itself is like a cursed weapon. But
Okay.
I think the mechanism is what Mikey's saying.
Yeah.
Whereas it acts like a focus
Okay.
because he had no his
way
he
to
didn't-
channel it.
He,
Yeah.
didn't- he doesn't have a cursed technique.
Right. That's true.
Everybody has a cursed technique, right? Like with
Yeah.
Megumi, it's the shadow summoning, right?
Yeah.
You know, with Nobara, it's the nails and the hammer, right?
Yeah.
He had nothing. He has Rika.
Yeah.
So but he himself, they realized
Yeah, it's
even
outside
without
of him.
Rika,
Yeah.
he has an immense amount of cursed energy on his own.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
without
yeah.
her.
Oh, I didn't know
In
that.
fact, it's one of the catalysts that allows this
Oh,
to actually
actually-
even happen to him.
That explains a lot for something we'll get into later when
Is
there's
that-
a big realization later.
Well, yes, and we'll get in. And we will
Yeah,
get into that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
so he has an immense amount of unfocused cursed energy, and Gojo is just giving him a tool to use.
Interesting.
That.
Okay, that
And it
all
just
makes
happens
sense
to be a
in
fucking
hindsight.
badass katana.
That all makes sense in hindsight. When I saw that scene, to me, I started thinking like, you're ruining the framework of how the cursed energy works, and like
No, it's all
everything's
coming from him.
loosey-goosey. But now it makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and
You guys
again,
good?
it helps build this character again beyond this
Yeah.
struggle that he's going with. He's not just in this because of Rika.
Yeah.
He's in this for other reasons. And
Yeah.
he's involved in this world for other reasons.
Okay, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so powering through. Now they start training now he's part of the team. They're training all together, and then they take him on the next mission with the cursed speech user dude.
Inumaki.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love that scene too.
I actually forget what the mission was, but it didn't really matter because the fight scene was so fucking cool that it didn't matter what the mission was. They go to it's another curse they have to go
Yeah,
and fight
just
or
go
something.
kill,
right?
kill the
Yeah.
curse.
Well, they originally thought that the curse speech guy, what's his name again?
Inumaki.
Inumaki. So Inumaki was able to go and deal with the curse on his own because they thought that the curse there
Yeah.
was at a level that he could handle, and Yuta was just there for experience.
Okay.
But it turns out it's not a,
Yeah, it was
a
some
level,
next level curse,
Next
yeah.
level curse,
Yeah.
right? Wrong information.
Totally.
Because you find out that Geto was involved in the
Yeah.
whole situation.
Yeah.
It was basically a ploy for Geto to get to see a little bit more of Yuta.
Yeah, because Yuta,
He's observing
because
Yuta right
Geto's
now.
interest in Yuta is massive.
Massive.
And we don't know that yet, actually, here at this point.
You just
he
know that
explains it
he's
later.
watching him very
Yeah.
closely.
Yeah.
It's the classic both sides want this guy,
Yeah.
right? And like, you know, which side is this guy going to really pick at the end of the day?
It's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi both trying to get Luke Skywalker on their team.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Anyways, fucking Inumaki using his power in this battle scene was amazing,
Get
dude.
crushed.
Dude, it was amazing, man. And then it fucks him up because then he starts like spitting up blood because he had to like harness it to a level that he wasn't
But I
capable
love that
of,
he
right?
got the throat spray
Spray?
from
Yeah.
the store
Sorry.
before he went. They're like, throat medicine. What's that for?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
dumb as shit, but whatever. It's funny.
But dude, fucking
Stupid and funny.
Definitely.
I don't know, man. It was charming, I feel.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Charming.
That's a good way to put it.
Definitely one of the coolest like displays of Togei's powers.
They animate it almost more massively than they animate anyone else's power, right? When he screams and like
The way
But that's the thing. His
everything
power,
changes.
his power level is crazy. Like with his, he has to speak in friggin'
rice ball
Yeah,
ingredients.
yeah.
Otherwise, he will accidentally kill you.
yeah, it's weird that they don't big him up as a more powerful character more often because they show him as one. They just don't talk about him as one.
But I think they needed to give him a bit of a handicap, right? Like they needed to
Yeah.
to
Otherwise, you just be
Yeah.
like, well, just bring him out. Bring Inumaki
Yeah.
out. Tell
Yeah.
him to just say something and solve the problem.
He's
Right.
kind of like Cyclops in the glasses. It's like,
Yeah.
if I don't have the
They
glasses
have
on,
to-
you're
yeah.
all dead. You're dead.
Anytime you give a side character like that amount of power, you have to nerf him. a
Yeah,
little.
you're right.
Plus,
Some
like
way.
the clan he comes from
Yeah.
is that OP, like historically in like,
Okay.
in the lore. Like,
Yeah.
they are really, really powerful. He's like a youngin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's still trying to figure out how powerful he is. And
That
gonna
makes
hang
sense,
on
which
it.
is why he needs the throat spray and might cough up some blood after he.
He pushes it too far sometimes. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Okay, cool. So the next thing that happens is Gojo actually goes on a solo mission all by himself. He goes to meet Geto. And I actually, once again, forget quite how all this went down. I'm not as engaged in the Gojo Geto situation as I know you are. Both of you probably. And I'm sorry that that's not the case, but I'm really just like consuming the sensational aspects of this film and this show in general.
Sure.
For the most part, that's kind of where I'm finding the enjoyment.
It's so much deeper.
I know that it is.
Just go a little bit deeper.
He'll be
Like,
he'll be forced.
I'll get it.
He won't
I'll
have a
get it.
choice.
I'm
He
just
won't have a
not
choice.
digging as hard as you guys are. It's,
Yeah,
you
the
know what I
story
mean?
will make you at a certain point.
And again, so like I know they have history, and I assume they went to jujitsu together. Do you know what I mean? But I don't really know. I don't even remember how this conversation went down when they first meet or hang out. Does it matter? We've covered at least where it's going with the two of them, right?
Well, I think it was more
No,
of
so your intro to Geto is you find out he's running a service.
That's right. He's like holding court.
You realize
Yeah.
that he's running a local service.
He's exercising curses from
basically
people.
he's exercising curses and relieving them of their curses, but in the process he's collecting
gaining their
them
power.
as
Yeah,
well.
because so the first one you see is there's like a literal rape curse on a girl.
Yes.
And he effortlessly is like, yeah, okay, I'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
And then he eats it. And
And
it's
then
a
he eats
weird
it.
scene.
Yeah, but
yeah,
like,
but it's the cell thing.
yeah, but then
Yeah, you're right.
It's it's interesting though because they really play up like he's this like mysterious young attractive man. Like the mom and the daughter are like giggling like, oh my god, he's so handsome, like he's so like
Yeah.
like they're all like taken aback by him.
Yeah.
He has this like messiah
Yeah, that's a
vibe
good word for
to
it.
him.
It's
You know what I
yeah,
mean? That
yeah.
like people want to follow him.
Yeah,
or,
he's
like,
got this
people want to-
altruistic, like kind of appearance, but then you realize it's like not really altruistic, right? It's very selfish. He's just powering himself up. That's
Yeah.
all he cares about, right?
Yeah. So then, I don't know if they don't really go to meet. The Geto shows up at the school.
That's later because maybe not. Maybe I have it mixed up. But anyways, what we do meet is before Geto shows up at the school, we kind of meet his team of like cursed thugs.
Yes.
Right, and they talk about how they want to take down Jujutsu School. They essentially like outline their plan. You know what I mean? And they like bring in that whole we're the evolution, and now's our time to take over, and we'll just take out all these like puny humans and useless curse users. You know what I mean? Like we're the next level. And then they go to Jujutsu High, and what they first do is try to convince all the students to join them.
Immediately.
Yeah, they're like, hey, like we're doing this and you're part of it, so like get on board. And they're like, nah. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, then on Christmas Eve, I'm gonna summon 1,000 curses and I'm gonna murder everyone. I'm gonna bring hell on earth. And that's basically him laying out his plan. And this is where Gojo shook because, like you put, he sees the imminence of war now coming up, right?
Yeah, and I think he also sees like the influence that like Geto could potentially have on a malleable mind like Yuta, like who's in this fresh.
Yeah.
He's just trying to figure it out. He's just trying to get his bearings. The last thing you want is, the sweet words of Geto in your ear swaying you towards the dark side.
Yeah.
You know? Especially when two of the people on Geto's side, on his crew, are the two young girls that he saved from that village.
I don't even remember that.
About his about his backstory.
What about his back? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I do remember
dude.
that now. I remember that now.
You're gonna give me an aneurysm, man.
Hold on, I need to make sure you understand.
You're seriously gonna give me an aneurysm.
So he got called in on a job
Yeah.
to get rid of these two curses
Right.
in this town.
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
he shows up, and it's two like toddler-aged little girls in a cage being beaten and stoned by the townsfolk.
Yeah, I remember this now.
And then he murders all the townsfolk.
Yeah. I remember this now.
Those two young girls
They're on his team
stay by his side and are on
okay.
his team. They're two of the girls that are with him.
Okay, I remember this now.
I get it now.
I do get it now. I get it.
Which would
Just
be
forgot about it.
which would
for
be a
second.
really a convincing argument on Geto's side to Yuta to be like, hey, you can trust this guy.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous fucking situation.
Yeah.
Gojo realizes that big time, and he's
Totally.
like, get the fuck out of here.
It also adds to like how he why Geto thinks the way he does because he saw the brutality of humanity in that moment, right?
It's all he saw,
Yeah.
and it changed him forever.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Hey, it's a huge
Yes.
part. It's just
Apologize.
it's just the entirety of his character. No big deal.
Yeah, I get his character. Okay, so
Why do we even do it this podcast?
I don't fucking know.
honestly, I don't know either.
Sorry, guys.
No, because we're having a good time, right?
It's
We're
true.
having a good time.
We
Okay.
are having a good
I hope
time.
you
We
guys
always
are too.
Yeah. Okay, so we walk away from the school with Geto and his team, and then we find out he tells them their actual plan. He's like, we don't actually really care about murdering everyone. We are really focusing on like looking at Yuta now, and we want him on our team. That's the number one goal more than anything else. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah, the
Because
idea
this is where he
is
lays it out.
the night parade of 100 demons is the name of Geto's plan.
Yeah.
Where in the major city centers in Japan, he's going to unleash
Summon curses.
an
Yeah.
innumerable amount of curses.
Yeah.
And
Another classic.
it's under the guise that this is his grand war
Yeah.
to wipe out the non-curse users. Meanwhile, it's just a ploy to get all the powerful people out of the school
Yeah.
so that he can go in
Exactly.
and fucking take Rika from Yuta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
classic tactic.
That's all he wants to do.
That's it.
And it works almost to a fucking charm.
Yeah.
Because everybody takes to their stations.
Yeah. Well, how do you not when you're threatened with that and you've seen the power of it, right?
But you also see they had to because the threat in those cities was real. It was no bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to bust out all the fucking stops.
Yeah.
And
That's
we got
the
some
thing.
great fucking fight scenes, man.
Yeah.
Great scenes there. That's where you see Gojo really
Totally.
cut
loose.
loose and like
blast
really
some holes in buildings and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
The collateral damage
It's
in
crazy.
those fight scenes
Yeah.
is like holy fuck.
But they
Yeah.
put up the veil,
Yeah.
right? Which I think helps with like
Yeah.
minimizing
killing
all
people.
that. Yeah.
Another sick fight scene you get is Panda and Geto go at it.
Yeah.
And that's that actually might be my favorite fight scene in the
Well,
movie.
that's because Geto absolutely fucking wrecks
Destroys
Maki's
him.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maki,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Maki's
yeah,
having
yeah.
a really good fight.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out the three
That's
section
right.
staff.
Yeah.
And
That's what
it's
we were
just-
talking earlier, where like that's why she hates that.
She brings it up in the show.
Yeah.
She uses it, and she's just like, I fucking hate this.
Because it
thing."
fucked her up. How sick is it when he pulls it out of that curse's mouth too?
Man,
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
pretty
that.
fucking
Actually.
there's so many excellent moments,
Yeah.
dude.
little moments. Like that's not even a big moment. That's just a delivery method. You know what I mean? That's it. But the
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
to detail.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yuta, after this battle, Yuta steps in with Rika. Like he's now figuring out how to use her. And then somehow he has like a healing power. Like he heals them.
Reverse curse technique.
Yeah, reverse
Is that a
curse
thing?
technique.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
well established. Yeah.
That fucking annoyed me because I don't remember that being
but
established.
it is a high level technique, and
Yeah.
at that moment, it's to speak to like the fact that you may not have seen it, but Yuta's had a ton of training at Jujutsu High.
You
that
see a little
haven't
bit of it.
seen.
You see a
yeah,
little
there's
bit
a bit
of
of a
it.
montage.
Yeah.
but this is to say like he's
Yeah.
very high level if
They've-
he's doing reverse curse technique.
They
at this
blasted
point.
past a little bit. Another thing that happens, which is also probably pretty high level, is he pulls out this fucking
the
megaphone.
dude.
Oh yeah,
And it's got the markings like
Of
Inumaki
the
has.
cursed speech users.
And he
yeah.
just goes, die.
no plummet.
Oh, is that what he
yeah.
says?
He's like
Plummet.
plummet. And
I
then,
watched the dub.
And then Geto just fucking drops through the floor.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
pit opens up
Dude.
and Geto's just gone.
I legitimately laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Like laughed out loud
Yeah.
because it was so funny, dude. But
Yeah.
like in a good way. Like it was like effective.
Yeah.
They killed me.
And then Geto rises from the pit.
Yeah.
like floating, and he's just surrounded by a shitload of curses.
Yeah, he's losing
And
it.
then he starts he goes fucking full
Ape.
sicko
He's
mode.
turning it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like the entire fights, every fight scene with Geto at that school,
Yeah.
whoever he's fighting, again, the choreography, the cinematography, the camera movements were just
Unbelievable.
I could just fucking watch those fight scenes on repeat.
Totally.
It's just masterful.
If I ever have an hour and a half in my life ever again, I might watch this movie again.
Yeah.
If that ever occurs.
Well, you're gonna have to remember a lot of it for when we start the second season.
I might have to rewatch it before we do that just to like fill myself in again because clearly I forgot a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it's so important, especially we're gonna simulcast this
Yeah.
season.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are getting fucked up. There's jujitsu sorcerers and Ghetto's gang are just going at it all over the fucking place now. There's curses coming around. People are getting fucked up, tossed around. Someone gets literally hung.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of crazy out of nowhere. We get Salaryman, a big hype moment. Do you know what I mean? Gojo gets a great fight against the dude with the whip.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a fucking sick fight scene. And again, Gojo's just blasting curses casually like it's no big deal, that's what you want in a fight scene from Gojo. You just want him floating around like as if he's skating on ice or something.
Yeah.
Like a fucking Brian Boitano or something. So
Such a random fucking reference.
like a fucking Elvis Stoico out there just blasting curses.
Fucking Kurt Browning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know a few random figure skaters too. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Any anime fans that are also figure skaters out there?
Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice. Yeah,
Yuri
that's,
on
yeah.
Ice.
We
What's
still
that?
got to do a BL.
It's a very gay figure skating anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd watch that. Okay, so
We got to do a proper BL.
So the fight is continuing.
yeah, Yuta and Ghetto start going at it now. That's
Well,
where I'm
they-
at now.
No, they already were going at it. He pulled out
Yeah.
the megaphone.
Okay, yeah, but they're
Yeah,
like,
they've been going at it forever.
The fight hits a point where Yuta has to make a decision.
yeah.
That
Well, because Ghetto summons this special grade curse. You
Yes.
skipped that
the
part,
big-
right?
No, that's
the
when
big
he-
guy.
When he comes out of the ground, he
Yeah.
summons that one, and
Okay,
that's when
okay,
I said
okay.
he's going full sicko mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's
then-
important because there's only like a few of those curses, right? Like it's a big deal he has one.
Yeah, those are S tier curses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the big moment is that Yuta has to ask Rika to use
Yeah.
all
yeah,
of her power.
Yeah.
And in order to convince her to do so, he
Yeah.
says, "I'll go with you."
But I'm gonna probably die.
No, like that's the idea. I'll go with you into death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
If you help me beat this guy right now and use your full power.
Totally.
It's a self-sacrifice move that like
Totally.
Yeah.
like we've seen it before with characters who, have all this power, don't know how to completely control it. This is their Hail Mary,
Yeah.
right?
Not to mention the trauma and the like hardships he's had to endure
Yeah.
in his life. He's like, honestly, like I can go.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what I mean?
Which is strange too, because it's like it's not. I don't know if he's quite like, hey, I want to go. I don't think it's like more like that. It's more like I'm ready to do this for the greater cause.
Yeah, it's a duty thing.
He's martyring himself really
Yeah,
at the end of the
for
day.
sure.
Yeah, but
100%.
it's a promise to Rika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he makes the promise to her
Yeah.
to make her agree.
Yeah.
And then she opens up her eye
Yeah.
and goes sicko mode herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Which was bonkers
and,
to see.
And basically ends the fight.
Totally.
Basically fatally wounds Geto.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the moment that like when Yuta like became my favorite.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
This is the big moment for him. This is the moment you knew he was going to get from the
Yes.
first moment you saw him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you get it and it's effective and it did what it was meant to do.
Yes.
And it made you love him, right?
Yeah,
It made you care
absolutely.
about the guy. Yeah. So yeah, okay, the fight's essentially over, which essentially brings us more or less to the end of the movie. So Gojo and Geto get like a cute little goodbye moment.
Yeah, because Gojo ends up thanking Geto actually,
Yeah.
like for in particular for not killing the
Yeah.
students,
Yeah.
because he very easily could have just finished off Maki.
Totally.
he could have killed literally everybody.
He
that
pulled
was still-
punches.
He definitely did,
Absolutely.
and it was on purpose.
Yeah.
And so Gojo thanks him, and they have a little bit of a touching moment.
Yeah.
and
Because he
Which,
doesn't
in that
want to
moment-
kill like other sorcerers. That's like
no, it's a
goes
waste.
against
Exactly.
yeah, it goes against his cause.
Yeah, he'd rather like rally them to his side. You know what I mean? Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
waste of cursed blood.
I did in that moment like understand why you guys shipped those two
Yeah,
for a
fuck
minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
See, I've learned that like actually I think this is a bit of a callback to when we did Bubble. And who was it that shipped the
Jay.
captain? Oh yeah, Jay.
It was Jay.
Yeah, you shipped the
No,
captain
I knew the captain
And the hard ass guy, wasn't it? That guy. The
No,
bad
no,
guy?
it was the main character.
It was the snotty captain guy of the crew with the red hair.
Yeah.
And the main character boy.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, there's romantic tension going on here.
Yeah, even
for
if it's
sure.
one-sided, it's there maybe. Yeah.
But because I just finished the case study of Vanitas.
Yeah.
And there's
You shipping a bunch of same-sex characters in that show, in that one too?
Well, I was like, they have a lot of people argue it's not
Yeah.
a BL, right? And some people were really kind of upset about that.
Yeah.
But now I kind of feel like, man, they should have made it a BL because the fight in between those two, because those two end up fighting.
Yeah.
Like the layers of emotional baggage.
Yeah.
That
If
would have
there's
had
love
them.
in the mix all of a
Yeah,
sudden?
like right,
Oh,
like
boy.
you
Trauma
know what I
bonding?
mean?
You think trauma bonding?
Either trauma bonding or like
Changes
just
everything.
changes everything,
Oh
right?
my
It's like
God.
now.
Yeah.
Now it's like I hate you, but now I have to kill my own lover.
Yeah.
like holy
it's the,
fuck.
It's the ultimate. It's the
Yeah.
ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to completely veer off topic here, but it was the whole thing people were looking forward to with Game of Thrones. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, who's gonna is Jon gonna fucking kill her or not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
spoiler
That was the-
alert. Jesus, man.
If you haven't seen Game of Thrones,
Don't bother.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
don't bother with the last season.
Yeah, stop after season 7 and just go straight to House of the Dragon.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's,
Much
still a good
better
it's
show.
still a good time. Just let go of your expectations. Just enjoy
Yeah.
it. That's my
But yeah,
opinion.
so there's definitely a nice moment. They also
Yeah.
share some words as he's dying that are silent. You don't actually hear what they say to each other,
Okay.
which you will eventually find out what they say to each other. But then as the camera pans out, you hear the sword slice,
Right.
chop noise,
Which is why you think dead.
insinuating
Yeah.
that
There's a
the-
dead
the
guy,
death-
and
the
it's
death-
probably the weaker guy.
The death stroke has been laid
Yeah.
by, and
But you know, because you've seen the first season, if you're watching this movie, that neither of those two guys are dead.
Yeah.
You know that they
Something
turned around.
has
You just
to
don't know
happen.
how. You don't
Yeah.
know what's
Something
going on.
has to
Yeah.
happen
It doesn't give you any sort of finality, but it gives you some mystique, some mystery that you know you're going to
It
get
just
to look
fills
forward.
in the blanks for you, right? Like
Yeah.
why? Like when you first watch this first season, you don't really know why the character design has Geto has the stitches across
Yeah.
his head, right?
Yeah, it was a little weird
right,
for me.
Right? So
You're
it's
right.
like, okay, so it's there. Is it a character design
Yeah.
choice just to make him look badass? But there's
Yeah.
actually plot to it, and
what-
this fills it in for
Well,
us.
what they did though is they filled it into a point, but they actually also give you anticipation because
Yes.
now you get to be excited about actually getting it filled in. You're like, oh, they're
What's
going to
the
give
real
this to
answer
me.
here?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
going to give
Yes,
this to me.
and,
Yeah.
and let me tell you guys. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing before we close off is at the very end, you find out they're like kind of like debriefing and recapping, and they're talking to Yuta, and they find out that like Yuta's not cursed by Rika.
Rika's
Yuta
cursed by
cursed
Yuta.
Rika in the first place.
Yes.
Which is that big reveal that you made clear to me early on of he has all this cursed energy. When she died, his emotions and his trauma of seeing that happen and his bond to her actually is the reason why she became a curse and bonded
turned-
him in the first
He
place.
turned her into a curse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is kind of crazy, man. And he basically has this moment where he apologizes. And she basically
Yes.
says thanks for the apology.
Yes.
That's kind of all I ever wanted.
and
Dude,
this
it's
and
catharsis,
that's,
man.
Yeah, the catharsis, and there's the amount of healing that was
Yeah.
involved in that moment.
And then there's like a release
that
where
makes
it's
him such a good character.
yeah, dude.
It's a very light moment. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, the whole story and everybody's emotions feels just calm, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're speaking to each other, and things are resolving and
Yeah.
healing. And
Yeah, the
and it's crazy.
resolution and just especially considering how heavy the movie was entirely.
Yeah.
Right? Like
So dark.
you
not
kinda
specifically
needed-
their part of it too, like
Yeah.
what they went through and
So
what they've
dark.
been dealing with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
And they just give you that little happy ending, and she's gone. Am I right that like she goes away after that?
she
Like
passes on.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
passes on to the next.
Yeah.
exactly,
yeah.
but she's not gone completely because she's still in the sword. There's a part of her that's in there.
Right.
Right.
But I think the thing is, there's always going to be a part of her, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, because the part of her that is cursed came from him, so
Yeah.
he still has that in him. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe. I
But
don't
that's
know.
also like in his experience. Also,
Yeah.
like that's his character, right? That's
Yeah.
his character development. You're never going to be able to
Yeah.
to get rid of that completely.
Yeah.
Right. So
One thing I also noticed is that at the very end they give you a close up on his ring.
Yes.
Which leads me to believe that there's something important about it and that it might still have to do with her. I don't know, but there's something about this sword ring combo.
It's certainly it's one thing that's undeniable is it's supposed to show his continued love and dedication to Rika.
Yeah, because he bought it for her, right?
It's not like, necessarily a mystical power thing. It's more of like an emotional character love
promise.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's another reveal, huge reveal that happens towards the end as well. That's also linked into what we were saying before about his power level.
I probably missed it.
Yeah, this is the one you missed.
Gojo reveals to Yuta that they're actually distant relatives.
Oh,
that
crazy.
They share a common ancestor who happens to be like one of the most powerful sorcerers like of all time, and that they actually have incredibly powerful lineage, and that they're like distant cousins technically.
I missed that completely.
Yeah.
But that'll happen.
And then the other thing that you missed,
After
the end credits,
this is the end credit one.
This one I didn't see, and just whoosh.
You have a shot in Africa in a little outdoor cafe.
Yeah.
And the camera shows a man approaching two other men sitting at a table. The two men sitting at a table, Yuta Okotsu and the braided whip man that Gojo fights. The man approaching the table is a fucking swagged up sunglasses Gojo.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the first season of the show when Gojo just leaves. He doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And they're all like, where the fuck is Gojo? They're just like, he just disappeared.
I remember that.
You see him in the beach, right?
He sends a picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was during that time, that was when he went to Africa to visit Yuta.
Is Gojo a snake?
No. Gojo was going to get Yuta.
Why was the whip guy there?
Because the whip guy might not be just because he's bad guy doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, all right.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So that's the other really important part.
Can I tell you that despite missing a bunch of really important shit, this fucking movie and show is still fucking great.
Right?
Like I missed a lot of shit, and it did not take away from the enjoyment
Good,
at all, man. At all. Yeah.
It's just such a fun watch, man.
Yeah.
Like, it just hits on every level, and
I 100% agree. I am sad for myself.
That's really, you know what? That's the thing. Yeah.
Tell me what the thing is.
The thing is, I am so sad for you sometimes when you miss certain things.
I just don't have the brain for shit like that, dude.
But there's just so much in there that you could have potentially enjoyed that's just missed. And neglected.
It is tragic. It is tragic, but at the same time, I feel bad for you, man. Because I know you're trying, and you're not intentionally trying to miss these things.
No,
you just always do.
Yeah. What are you trying to say here, dude?
It's like this weird thing where I battle. Like I'm sad about that, but at the same time, it's kind of endearing because that's kind of like your personality too.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not dumb, okay? I'm not dumb.
I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying that
your personality is.
Wait, what? No, man. Dude.
Guys, this is a long episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty long, but that's all right.
Yeah.
It's worth it because this movie was fucking great.
Yeah.
We'll talk another episode because it'll come up again about why I miss things.
Yes.
But it's all good.
Anyway.
You want me to rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it.
I'm going to actually go on a limb and just throw a 9 at this movie, dude.
Wow.
Fuck yeah,
Yes.
Because, like, it's just top notch.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And honestly, even better knowing some of the information that you guys filled in for me, it didn't get a 9 on the paper. It gets a 9 now.
Right on.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Honestly, I think, like, you know, again, if any of the three of us ever have enough free time, like to sit down, have a couple beers, and just fucking crush this movie would be like. There are a lot of worse ways to spend like 2 hours with your bros.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
agree, 100%. Yeah, or by yourself. But
Sure.
it's just a good time. Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
9.5.
9.5.
9.5. Like I literally, it's not. It wouldn't. We don't give 10s. But no, that's not the reason. That's not the reason that I'm not giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 9.5. Just again because there were those little pandering moments to the original series where I'm like, fuck, this would have been like truly a standalone epic Ninja Scroll level movie film on its own.
Yeah.
if they just didn't have those little moments. But it's a nitpick. Otherwise, I fucking love this. It's
I mean, a 9.5 is already like
Yeah.
And
there's
it's a love letter to my boyfriend.
There's
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
And there's got to be
Yeah.
a part of you that loved those little pandering moments, just not in their
A
entirety.
little part. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved them.
I know you loved them.
I know.
Mikey.
My
Everyone knows
husband's
you
in
loved
this,
them.
man. My husband.
Yeah.
Right. So I give it a 9.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, same.
Same. Solid 9.
Nice.
This legit might be our highest average ranked.
Oh, yeah. I
maybe.
think so.
Maybe.
thing.
I think so.
I don't think we've ever given anything all over 9.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's usually us two giving it over 9 or
Yeah.
something.
Or
And
me
then
and
you-
Jay gives it like a 4.
Or you two. Yeah. Sometimes you
Yeah.
guys give shit
Yeah.
high scores. That
And
just
Jay
suck.
hates it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, throwback.
You almost say my last name there? Beckett?
No, I said back.
Oh. Throwback?
I only said back.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, where can people find you, Jordy?
Reaching in on Instagram.
How about you, Jay?
Hanger.91, at hanger.91 on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Korean Barbecue 86 on Instagram, but you'll actually find me more so on Shmanime Pod on TikTok. Also, come join the Discord.
Yeah.
Hang out. We love you.
Oh, also, shout out
Yes.
to Never Not Kittens.
Yes.
Yes.
At Never Not Kittens. They are an amazing kitten rescue that has supported us immensely. They're the reason we look so damn good on your screen right now.
Hell yeah. Look at how good we look.
Compared to our grainy ass old videos.
Yeah.
Hey, I love our grainy ass old videos.
And we all love kittens. So
We do
support
love
them.
kittens.
Please
Yeah.
support Never Not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Love you. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.